Wonder Woman, I know you're just a statue, but were you aware that they canceled Valentine's Day? I mean, canceled Valentine's Day. Alright, well, let's just get on with this, shall we? Welcome again to another MMO Anthropology, where I'm bringing you back into DC Universe Online. And I figured I'd give you a view of the now Gotham City with the Arboretum and the greenhouse, with some lovely giant moon in the background. The reason that I'm here and not in the erstwhile Aphrodite's realm is because DC Universe Online has decided to forego their Valentine's Day event, which means that I don't get to show it to you. According to the creative director Jen Zanderson for Sony Online Entertainment, they're skipping it because they wanted to make new content for their February 14th Valentine's Day event because people so horribly disliked the previous one. And I quote, "Over the next cycle, starting with summer, we will be adding the following: boss fights for summer, winter, and spring, and open world content in the fall." That's to say that their next event will be for St. Patrick's Day, and since I'm Irish, I have every intention of coming out and actually reviewing that. However, because I can't give you a view of what their Valentine's Day event looks like up front, I'm going to have to describe it as I remember it and try to give you an idea of the sort of approach that they gave to this American and somewhat Western European holiday, hallmark and all. So, let's get along, and I'll take you to where it would have started. I'll see you there. Alright, I'm bringing everyone to the Watchtower since I'm playing a hero named Zeta Eklai, and if I recall correctly, this is where we picked up the quests that began the quest line for the Valentine's Day events. They involved primarily a war between the goddess Aphrodite and the DCUO villain, and also minor goddess from Greek mythology, Circe. You would pick them up somewhere in this room, I think probably in the back, from Booster Gold, who would immediately relate his undying affection and attention for Aphrodite, the goddess of love, in his over-enthusiastic and cheerful manner of speaking in which he usually uses to solicit himself. When you are then sent to Metropolis to assist the Wonder Woman and the Amazons in their fight against Circe. Of course, I'm not really sure what the villains did, as they go to their own villain who is then sent to assist Circe in fighting the Amazons and taking over the holiday. When you go there, you are delivered into a fountain with a numerous number of hearts spilling out of it and other very, very Valentine's Day related elements. When you go through, you're transformed into either an imp or a cherub. In the cherub's case, it's the child with the wings, the white wings and the bow and all that sort of thing. And you were then, one of the daily quests, which I found obscenely frustrating, was a jumping quest where you leap upon a pad that propels you into the air at exciting speeds, where you are supposed to collect things called Hearts of Devotion, which are basically hearts with flames around them. When you collect them, they would propel you further up into the air. However, at the same time, there were other hearts called Hearts of Scorn, which were dark red and covered with thorns and would injure or stun you and cause you to fall out of the sky. As part of the leaping quest, the Hearts of Devotion, of course, triggered another bounce further into the sky, except for my problem was that I discovered a sort of input or collision lag, as I would call it. When I struck the heart, it would take a moment to know if I hit it or not, and then I was flying higher into the air. I missed them quite commonly. I don't really like jumping puzzles in games where I have controls like I do in DCUO and etc., but still, it was one of the daily quests. Apparently, there was also a multiplayer event for collecting Hearts of Scorn and Devotion, in which you collected Hearts of Devotion in order to speed yourself up, and Hearts of Scorn basically blasted your opponents in order to knock them back to make sure that they couldn't get at them. Then finally there was an alert added to the system, and alerts are basically DCUO's system of instances. It was essentially a 4-man instance where you fought a boss during the ultimate battle between love and emotion. Aphrodite from Greek mythology, who is best known to Venus to the Romans, was the goddess of love and emotion, beauty and pleasure. While she was a free-spirited critter, Zeus decided to marry her to the god of blacksmiths and artisans, basically at lightning bolt point. To the Romans, Hephaestus was known as Vulcan. Circe shows up in Greek mythology as well as a minor goddess of magic, and she's better known as an enchantress. In Homer's Odyssey, she was portrayed as someone who lived on an island and transformed men, usually sailors, into animals. In DCUO, Circe is set against Wonder Woman and the Amazons, and she employs half men, half animals as warriors, probably as a callback to the mythology of the Odyssey, where she did turn men into animals. Now, none of these figures are traditionally connected to Valentine's Day. However, Aphrodite, with her role as a goddess of love and pleasure and beauty, and of course the goddess Circe with her famously misandrous behavior, sets them up as likely opponents. And in the DCUO universe, that makes them excellent for binding together into using the Valentine's Day tradition as an event in game. This has been another edition of MMO Anthropology. Thank you for joining us. If you like what you've seen, be sure to leave a rating and comment to tell us about your previous Valentine's Day experiences. And you should subscribe if you'd like to see more of this. Or your Valentine's Day might not happen at all.